Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over an updated wildcard draft for game week 22. So if you are excited for the video, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 50 likes. Leave a comment. Are you using any of your chips this week? Free hit, wildcard, bench boost, let me know. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, this is my updated wildcard draft for game week 22. Now, of course, I did a wildcard draft at the beginning of the week, but a lot of things have happened since then. We've had more COVID outbreaks, injuries, suspensions, all that stuff. So yeah, this is just an updated kind of version of that wildcard draft that you could use as a, template or something like that if you were thinking of wildcarding this week. Now, of course, with wildcards, it's a little bit more tricky than if I were using a free hit, because with free hits, you can just bring in all your double game week players, all the teams that you wouldn't usually bring into your team, because you can just forget about them after this game week. You get your normal team back after, it's great. However, with a wild card, you're kind of stuck with those players. So with this draft, there's not as many double game week players in there, because once game week 22 is over, you don't want to be stuck with like triple Leicester, triple Spurs, triple United, all of these teams that, don't have the best fixtures coming up. That obviously you don't want to just fill your team with. So in goal we have Sanchez and De Gea. Now you don't necessarily need both of these in your team. You could go with someone like Backman or someone instead for Watford, just to give you a little bit of extra funds, but it's only a 0.3 difference. And when De Gea plays West Ham next week, you will have Sanchez for Leicester, so that could be a nice little kind of they just kind of gel well with each other. I know that Brighton missed the game after that, but it doesn't matter then because you have De Gea for the next three anyway. So yeah, it is completely up to whether you'd want to bring in Backman instead for that, who obviously has Norwich. It's just Watford have, not the best record with clean sheets this season. Or you could just go with a 4-mil keeper, someone like Steele or something, just to save you that extra 0.6. This draft also allows you to bring Mo Salah back in as well, which is why there's a mil left in the bank. But any more extra funds like that, if you were to go with Steele instead of Sanchez to give you 1.6, to guarantee that you're going to get Salah back in your team. Because with a wildcard draft, you also have to think about that as well. You don't want Salah to come back and start hitting the ground running, getting all these different returns, and you not being able to get him back into your team because of certain funds, and then you'd have to take a couple of hits to bring him back in. You don't really want to be dealing with that. So when you're on your wildcard, you need to be kind of sorting all of that out when you're kind of drafting it, which is why it's such a big decision playing your wild card, because it's not just this week you need to prep for, it's the next like 5 or 6 weeks as well. So at the back we have White, Semedo, Trent, Cancelo and Reguilon. Again, not many double game week players in this back line here. We obviously have De Gea having a double game week and Sanchez as well, so you could really go with either keeper this week. But then Reguilon is the only double game week player at the back line there. White is more or less just an enabler. Arsenal's defense has gotten a lot better. They did just lose to Forest, which was obviously fantastic news for me. But of course they weren't playing their starting 11 there, and I mean, take away nothing from Forest. They completely deserve to win that game, and that's not just because I'm a Forest fan. But I think they'll do okay in the league. They have Burnley soon and stuff. So they do blank in game week 20. I think it's 26, is it? If I go to, they blank in 25 and then 27. They don't blank in 26. So obviously you wouldn't be playing him for all of those game weeks, but you have enough players. You kind of just need a strong bench when you're kind of sorting out a wildcard draft at this point, just simply because there's so many COVID postponements. You don't really want to triple up on teams either, because obviously if that game does get postponed, you'll have 3 players are gone just like that, and you'll have no bench. So yeah, at the end of the day, you kind of need a strong bench when you're kind of drafting a wildcard at this point. I've also brought in Semedo as well. Now, this could be any Wolves defender, but I just think Semedo is just getting points after points after points. Wolves are just keeping clean sheets right now. Of course, didn't play against Chelsea, but I think he had COVID then, but he got 8 points there against United, 8 points against Brighton. Obviously only lost 1-0 to City and Liverpool, which is not that bad. They are the 2 best teams in the league. And then he has some really nice fixtures coming up, like Southampton's really nice, then Brentford. Arsenal, Tottenham might be a little bit more difficult, but I think that Wolves are very capable of keeping a clean sheet in those games. With how well they've been playing at the back, I think that they're more than capable of doing it. We've also got Trent in this team as well. Now, he does have COVID right now, but do not fear if you are a Trent owner, because he should be back for game week 22. He's going to miss the first leg of the cup against Arsenal, I do believe, but I think he said, I think in the conference or something, he said that like he got COVID like the day after the Chelsea game or something, so he's obviously been isolating there, and then he'll be training in a couple more days, and then of course we'll be hopefully back for game week 22, but he will miss the Arsenal game. But of course, if you know, an FPL fan, you're not really too bothered about the cups. And then we have Cancelo as well. Again, not the greatest fixture against Chelsea this week, but then has 3 really nice fixtures. You don't want to not have Cancelo for those 3 fixtures there. They're just going to be so useful, which is another reason that Foden's in the team as well. You know, he might not be back for Chelsea, but your bench is much more strong it's strong enough to be able to put him on your bench. Like with this draft, you could easily be benching Cancelo and Foden this week, because you could obviously play Trent, Reguilon, and then Semedo, because I think Semedo playing Southampton is much better than Cancelo playing Chelsea. And then in midfield, you'd probably play Maddison, Jota, and then either Bowen or Gray instead of Foden. Then obviously you want those 3 up front there because they've all got double game weeks apart from Antonio, but he's against the Leeds side that they just beat in the in the cup. So yeah, I mean, I think the backline's okay. You know, it's not really hitting on so many double games, but there's so many more games to postpone. You know, the likes of Wolves will have a game in hand, I'm pretty sure. Arsenal will. Leicester, of course, will have a few because their game just got postponed against Everton. Liverpool will have another one coming up now because they didn't play. And it's just, it's very much luck based at the moment, FPL, because you don't know whether to bring in a player if they're even going to play. You know, they could get COVID, their match could get postponed. It is really just about luck right now. And I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter saying it's just, FPL's just not fun at the moment. You know, it's just completely luck based. There's all skill kind of goes out the window, all preparations goes out the window. Like Son obviously picking up that injury. Pretty much everybody's move this week, if you weren't using a chip, was to go from Salah to Son, who obviously had a double game week, and then maybe use the extra funds to bring in another double game week player or something like that, which is what I was going to do as well. But then with Son picking up that injury, it makes it a lot more difficult, so you don't really know which way to go with that. Yeah, we have Maddison, Jota, Foden, Bowen, and Gray in midfield. The reason Gray's in here now, you don't need Gray. You could easily have a different player there, like a different double game week player or something like that, because Gray doesn't double up this week. But he does have Norwich and then Villa, but then he has Newcastle, Leeds, and Southampton. And I just think those fixtures are really nice. He also scored a pretty good goal as well in the cup. And I just think that Gray is a nice little enabler there. 5.5. You could go with some like Gallagher or Mbumo or something like that, but I think you can easily get him in the team and still have enough to bring Salah in. He's just a really good option to have on your team with these fixtures coming up. And then Bowen is there as well, just in the form of his life. Again, Foden, I think even if he's not back for Chelsea, he'll be back for Southampton, Brentford, and Norwich, which obviously really want him for. And then Jota is just going to be playing every single game week because the likes of Mane and Salah both are AFCON. Firmino's back now, which is good, but of course they don't have anyone else to play up front. So yeah, Jota will be pretty much playing every single game. So yeah, and then we have Maddison as well. Maddison I'm a little bit hesitant to bring in on a wild card. One, the fixtures after the double game week aren't great. Has Brighton, Liverpool, West Ham, then Wolves, which are obviously really bad fixtures for him. And as well as that, Leicester have literally no players. Like, they obviously got their game against Everton cancelled just simply because they couldn't field enough senior players. I think you need to have like 14 senior players or something like that, and they had 8, and 2 of those were goalkeepers, so they just physically could not play the game. And so we don't know if their game week 22 games are in doubt or not. So if you're on your wild card, you know, you could end up not bringing in Maddison and bringing in someone else like Mason Mount or something. Might make it a little bit harder to bring in Salah, but if you were going to get rid of Mount anyway, it's just Chelsea players as well though on wild cards are a little bit not the greatest, because obviously they have 2 blanks coming up. So it is one of those situations. I hopefully they'll just play anyway, but yeah, I'm not super settled on Maddison. I mean, it's not too bad if it's a free hit, because, you know, if we do get news that they don't play, you can easily just free hit them out or whatever. And the same with a wild card. But obviously if you get that news after, it's not as good, because then you're stuck with Maddison, who's got some really bad fixtures coming up. So that's the midfield. Up front we have Ronaldo, Antonio, and King. So this is where we kind of get into like captain territory. You could either go with Ronaldo or Kane this week. I'm more inclined to go with, I mean, both have kind of things right now that are kind of making me not want to go with either of them. Like Ronaldo, they've only scored more than 1 goal in like 1 game under Ralph, and that's obviously the 3-1 win against Burnley, where Ronaldo did get a couple of returns, but apart from that, they've failed to score more than 1 goal in every single game. So whether that's going to be enough to kind of captain Ronaldo, I don't know. And they're not the easiest fixtures either. Like Villa is no walkover at all, and then also Brentford as well. They're not easy fixtures, you know, they're both away as well. Neither of the games are at Old Trafford. And then on the flip side, if you go with Kane instead, you know, Kane without Son, you know, is that going to really damage his chances of getting anything, really? I don't know. Kane's not exactly in the best form of his life right now. And again, losing Son is going to be a huge problem. Now, something you could do instead, because Son isn't in the starting lineup for a little bit, you could go with Mora instead, who's 6.5. He's cheaper than Maddison. If I was on a free hit, I would definitely bring Mora in, because I think he has to play now Son's out. And Mora is known to get some nice returns every now and again, like 17 points there, 9 points there. So I think with Son out, I think he's a decent little option. And again, I don't think Son's back until late Jan, early Feb. So you'd probably get all of your January fixtures out of the way with Lucas Moura, and then you could just transfer Lucas Moura out for Salah and get rid of either Ronaldo or Kane, because that's what you kind of do with this wildcard draft. You've got 1.4 mil in the bank if you go Lucas Moura instead of Maddison. You take him out for Salah, who obviously will be, I mean, he's 12.8 at the moment right now, but he probably will go down to like 12.7, 12.6 by the time he is back from AFCON. And then obviously get rid of Ronaldo, it gives you 7.8 in the bank. You could easily bring in someone like Watkins, who has some really nice fixtures coming up, because Watkins has, you know, after United has Everton, Leeds, Newcastle, Watford, Brighton, and Southampton. So if I was on this wildcard draft and this is what I was doing, I would definitely do that. I would simply just get rid of Lucas Moura and Ronaldo for Salah and Watkins. You know, you got enough money in the bank for it. So yeah, it should be okay to do that. But for this wildcard draft, you know, for the likes of for the likes of Game Week 22, you just have Lucas Moura and Ronaldo. I think captaincy is a little bit more difficult. You know, it might even be one of those weeks where you captain someone like King or Dennis, because, you know, they have Newcastle and Burnley, which are two really nice fixtures. And even though Watford cannot keep a clean sheet to save their lives, that's just two really nice fixtures for King or Dennis. Now, Dennis obviously a little bit more, I don't know, in the dark on whether he's going to play or not. You know, he only played for 45, he picked up a knock. Is he going to be pissed about AFCON still? You don't really know. So I think King is the safer bet. He is on penalties as well, while Sarr is off to AFCON, and well, he's just been injured anyway, Sarr has, but Sarr is usually on penalties, but King will be now if they do get one. So yeah, you know, and with the likes of King as well, he could easily repeat what he did in game week 9, where he got the big fat 16 bomb. And imagine if you captained him in a double game week, if he scores a hat-trick against Newcastle, then you're absolutely loving life, because then you've got another game with him against Burnley, and he's already got you like 32 odd points, so that'd be absolutely insane. But anyway, that's gonna be my wildcard draft, my updated wildcard draft, should I say, for Game Week 22. I'm gonna do an updated free hit template tomorrow as well, because like I said, a lot of things have changed. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new. It's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.